The only thing I have today is we're fortunate to have Dr. Geoff Battersby in attendance today, and we have a special presentation for the good doctor. When I first moved to Revelstoke in 1977, don't do the math on that, Geoff was extremely prominent then and still prominent today in getting involved with all kinds of things around Revelstoke, either inside the political arena or outside, and I think that we owe a lot to Geoff and the processes and the programs and the things that he put in place, and we are reaping the benefits today with a, I think, a superior quality of life and a great community to live, work, and play. And I would like Geoff to come up and receive this letter and gift certificate in appreciation for all that he's done. Geoff has recently resigned as the chair of the Energy Corporation, which he played a major role in forming. And again, on behalf of all of the council and the community, thanks for everything you've done for us.
Thank you, Council, and thanks to people in the back. It's been a great pleasure to have been able to play an active role in the life of this community over the years, and both an honor and a privilege as well to have that sort of the support that you get from a community like Revelstoke that is so self-determined and knows where it wants to go, and everybody gets together and works to make the right things happen here. And I'm sure you all know that the Order of Canada nomination comes about by virtue of local people making that nomination. And those people shall remain unnamed, but I want to thank them officially for having nominated me, and also for the many other people who made submissions to the nomination. The official ceremony for the Order of Canada takes place in Ottawa on September 23rd, and I'm really looking forward to being there. And this is a great city. I've always enjoyed being an integral part of it, and I'll continue to be such. Thank you all very much.
Good. Looking forward to it. Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor English, Councillor Sauls, all those in favor? Motion is carried. I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 26th. Councillor Nixon, Councillor English, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And the adoption of the special council minutes of July 26th. Councillor English, Councillor Sauls, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes of the regular meeting of July 26th? Of the special council meeting minutes of July 26th. Hearing and seeing none, we move right into delegations and presentations, and we have today from the Okanagan Regional Library, we have Stephanie Hall and Kendra Runalis. And ladies, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your worship. So we'll just do a bit of trading off here. Remote for the projector?
You just have to turn it on there.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So thank you for your time and seeing us today. I know you're busy people, so we'll try to keep it brief. We'll talk a little bit about your local branch, a little bit about us in the Okanagan Regional Library, and then there'll be time for questions. So in the Revelstoke branch, we had about 4,000 card holders, 75,000 transactions, and about 5,000 people came to programs. And that's absolutely due to the phenomenal work from your local staff. They are just fantastic, and it makes my life easy in doing these kind of presentations because I can just rely on the great work they've been doing. We've noticed an increase in Wi-Fi sessions, and that's because we now offer our Wi-Fi 24/7. And so some communities have had an issue with that. We haven't heard of any issues here, so it's just been widely taken up by local residents and visitors and so on. So why do we care about all this activity that's happening? Libraries, our big goal is to build readers. And both the Pediatric Association in the US and the one in Canada have issued formal statements on how important that is for kids. So when kids come into kindergarten, grade 1, if they've been read to at home, they're coming in with thousands of hours of pre-reading experience. So studies have shown that they come in with a big advantage. You can track those same kids through grade 3, they still have an advantage. So it's just, we put a lot of emphasis on those early years because of that. We also do all our adult programming as well. But, so last year, Kendra and her staff helped over 4,000 people in Revelstoke connect with reading, which is great. So I'm happy about that. And why do we care about all this? Higher literacy is associated with a better chance of having a job and earning more money, better health. There's even been studies recently about how a good program of reading can help slow the development of dementia. And more involvement in the community, more chance of volunteering. And then of course on the flip side of that, they've done some studies with prison inmates and found that about 80% of them have some literacy issues. So it's just a big hurdle if you don't have it, and if you do have it, it's a big help. So this is kind of one of our core elements. So I'm going to turn it over to Kendra to talk a little bit about the local branch.
So last November, we had a community consultation and idea lab, and what came out of it was that people of Revelstoke said that they wanted more tech training, more speakers and workshops, more connection with marginalized populations, and a space for groups in the community to get together for various reasons. So pretty quickly after that consultation, Tracy Spanier and I from CBAL got together and partnered to create the Learning Place, which is a tech training time weekly in the library. We did that for April, May, June. CBAL was able to get a contract and hire Corinne Moroni to run that. We continually do, as we've always done, one-to-one device and digital resource training with our customers as needed. And Thursday mornings, the Senior Center knows that I'm available to help in their computer lab with anything related to the ORL website and their e-readers devices. As for speakers and workshops, I'll go into in actually greater detail in the next slides. Connecting with marginalized populations, we have a Community Connections adult group that visits the library weekly. They come for about an hour every single week and just enjoy it so much. And as for a space for groups, for meetings, gatherings, programs, our regular ones are the Multicultural Society holds all their meetings at the library. The Parks Canada Union of National Employees holds their meetings there in our meeting room. The homeschoolers of Revelstoke hold classes there when they'd like to get together as a bigger group. And we have the Spanish Conversation Group has moved from another venue and now weekly meets at the library. So as far as the speakers and workshops, I'm proud this year that we've had some great ones. Because we're such a great destination, the location of Revelstoke and our great skiing here, we've had Brian Newham from the Lake District in England, who every year, all winter, chooses a spot around the world to come ski. And this past winter he chose Revelstoke. Luckily brought all his slides and presentation for his Antarctic trip. And that was great. We had over 45 people come to that one. We had a mountaineer from Scotland come because attending Chick Scott's wedding. Again, because we live here, he was happy to come here, do a presentation at the library. Again, 50 people came out. Jim Lawrence from the Kootenays came and did a presentation on his photography. Upcoming ones, and then Kathy English presented her first book, a brown bag history book. Upcoming in September, we have a ex-city councillor from Nelson, Donna McDonald, has written a book, Surviving City Hall. You all might be interested in that. Behind the scenes look at being for 19 years on Nelson City Councillor. She'll talk about some of the funny, unbelievable things like the complete dog ban that they had downtown, things like that. Anyway, that should be a good one. I can't wait. September 14th. Workshops that we've had, CBAL every year gets a contract to do a series of literacy workshops. They had about 8 of them. February, March, they held all of those at the library. We have projector screen, everything for them to use, so they're super happy to have our space to do those. The public speaking refers to Toastmasters, who holds their meetings every Monday in the library, and have said over and over how the turnout is about doubled because of having it in the library. I think they used to hold it in the back room in the Powder Springs Hotel, and they just feel like the advertising and the exposure in the library, they're just thrilled with the turnouts. We have a writing workshop tonight. An author from Vancouver is passing through on her way to Calgary, and we'll do a writing workshop tonight. Another local author coming up in September, and just an hour ago I had another phone call from a mountaineer from England that will be in Canada, in Canmore, and we'll do another talk on climbing, so that'll be huge. Our regular adult programs that occur at the library, weekly, bi-monthly, and monthly, are the Spanish group, the Toastmasters, Knitting Club, Book Club. And as always, we have our regular story times, youth programs. We have some monthly ones. The kindergarten visits are exciting. There's 5 kindergarten classes in town, and they all come once a month to the library and get an hour of story time. They love that. We have some yearly visits too, routine visits from the Sparks and Brownies. We give them an hour story time there. Screen Smart Week, we run about 3 programs. Spring Break Week, we run 3 programs. And the Summer Reading Club is going on now, and we do 5 programs, and we have almost 150 kids signed up for that this year, so we're happy about that. Some of the huge programs we've had this year for kids, with 100 in the audience, is the Kids Around the World, which is part of the Carousel of Nations. I hope to do that again next year. It worked out really well. We had a children's author from Salt Spring Island and the illustrator in the picture from Vernon, with over 50 kids attending that one. And the Tour of the Universe, the Royal Astronomical Society Okanagan Centre came, and that was wonderful too, over 50 kids and the homeschoolers and some classes like that. So we're really excited about what we've done this year. Thank you.
Great. So, yeah, I'm absolutely amazed with all you guys are doing, considering the number of staff and time and how you fit it all in. So. A little bit about us in the Okanagan Regional Library. We've just completed a strategic plan, and Linda was dragged into that and had to attend many lengthy meetings where we worked that out. We did a community survey all the way from Golden down to Osoyoos, and over 1,100 people answered our survey from the community. So that was one consultation. We did a consultation right here in Revelstoke, an Idea Lab, which Kendra referred to. So there was a bunch of work that was done on this, and I think it just gave us a really simple plan that we can use to guide us. So the main themes of the plan, the first one is to continue our role in supporting learning. We've always supported learning through just, transactions, lending books, and so on. But we find now that the requests for services from us are different. People would like support with their online learning. They want to know about technology, and our staff are having to adapt to that. We also want to provide better support to creative people who want to have a voice with writing or other forms of creativity, and we want to figure out how can we better support entrepreneurs as well. We'd like to be better connected with all of you and your local community and your local needs. So this is sort of on my plate to figure out, okay, how am I going to understand all these strategic plans of 25 member communities and what they're looking for, and then how does the library come in and support that. So that'll be fun for me to read all that and try to figure out how can we kind of turn our ship so that it's really matching what you guys want. In terms of the third one, it's really about our space, and the fact as staff, as Kendra's demonstrated, more and more people would like to partner with us and hold learning events in our spaces. How do we make them more flexible so we can accommodate all of that, new kinds of uses? And then the fourth one is about our staff and just helping them come along, because the demand for assistance with technology is like a bottomless well. We could just do that 24/7, but the staff have to be helped to come along to be able to, first we have to learn what we're doing before we can help everyone. So that's a big one for us that's kind of internal. A few services I wanted to just talk to you about quickly. We do now have streaming movies. These are independent movies, so they're not necessarily a blockbuster, but they're maybe what you might see at Sundance. We have our Rosetta Stone learning, language learning, so if you're heading off to Mexico at Christmas, you can learn your Spanish for free with us. Press Reader is a great service, I was thinking, for you guys being political people. So daily Globe and Mail, and it's in the same format that a newspaper would be. Large dailies are there. Also a lot of magazines are there, so you might want to read video game magazines or home decorating. They're all there for free as well, so it's a great resource, very popular. And the other one I wanted to mention is called lynda.com, and I was particularly thinking also of staff in the town of Revelstoke, that this is a professionally produced learning tool that will assist people in getting different skills. So it might be you want to be better with Excel, or you want to get your A+ certification. These are graduated video series that help you get to where you want to go. And even things, just personal things, maybe you want to be a better digital photographer, well, there's series on that as well. And the feedback we've had is excellent about this. And I do think for HR departments, it's one way to help your staff train up that's pretty inexpensive. You don't have to send them away for a course, it's all on here. So, and now there's time for questions. So either Kendra or I can answer the questions that you have.
Councillor Nix?
Just in the last year, you've done a lot of work yourself, Stephanie, with bridging with Okanagan College and UBCO. Could you just touch on that just a little bit? Because I think that's really good for the whole region.
Sure. We're trying to build more partnerships with large learning institutions like UBC, Okanagan College, and the next one we need to kind of figure out is the school districts. We do a lot of promoting summer reading club and so on, but to have more meaningful partnerships. So right now, we're working with, UBCO has a library embedded in our downtown Kelowna library, so they can provide they have access to millions and millions of dollars of resources that we can then, so they can provide that there. We also, with Okanagan College, are going to have a partnership where they can use some of our classroom space, and then they'll assist us in building that space, so that's exciting. But we think about Okanagan College, particularly their regional footprint is so similar to ours, that we're beginning to think, okay, well, how can we support one another? And there's lots of little examples of, I think, like Kendra's had some of their settlement, they have some settlement activities, so the groups have come into the library and so on, but we're starting to think, okay, same taxpayer, how can we kind of leverage what we both do and do a bit more? So it's just in an early stage, I guess, yeah.
The question that I have is the e-services, like the language learning, the newspapers, the lynda.com, do you have to go into the library to access that, or can you do that remotely?
You can do it remotely, but often it's easiest when you're starting up, if you come and get your card and get them to show you where it all is and how to log on and stuff. And there's a few little hurdles, like you have to set up a little, for Rosetta Stone, for example, they want you to set up a little account with Rosetta Stone too, so you can track your own learning and so on. But once you're all set up, you're good to go. You can access it from Rome or wherever you are. And our ebooks as well. A lot of people love to travel and just have our ebook service, because then they just have to take their tablet and don't have to carry nine books.
Great.
Yeah.
Any other comments from council? Councillor Duke?
Just a comment to thank you very much for letting us do Toastmasters there, which is fantastic. The space is incredible for it. It works out perfectly. And then I didn't know anything about e-learning. That's fantastic. You're expanding into that. That's a great field to get into.
Yeah, and if anyone would ever like us to come and talk to a group or, Chamber of Commerce or something like that, we're starting to think about, we need to make sure people know this is there and that it's free and that they all have access to it. So.
Great.
Well, it was great having you come today, because I sure learned a lot about the services that are there. Nice to see the numbers. I think the library obviously is being used a heck of a lot more than I thought that was, and that's really good to see. And I guess the real message I'd like to send out to the community is that if you haven't been to the library lately, you should get down there, because it is a great resource for anything that you want to do or learn or just enjoy the library.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you for coming. Under old business, 8A.
8A, I move that zoning amendment bylaw number 2119 be adopted.
Motion by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor English. Discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Bring forward 8B, that zoning amendment bylaw number 2.0 be adopted.
Motion by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor Nixon. Discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried.
I'll move forward that staff receive the alternative approval process of the electors for the extension of the City of Revelstoke municipal boundary in order to annex the following 23 properties noted in agenda. into the city of Revelstoke, subject to the receipt of the Provincial Ministry of Community Support and Culture Development Administration report. And that council hereby establishes the electoral response form to allow for multiple electoral responses, that a deadline for receiving electoral responses for submission to the Director of Corporate Administration is to be 4:30 p.m. Monday, September 26, 2016, and the determination of the total number of electors of the current area of the city of Revelstoke to which approval process applies is 5,664.
Motion by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor Nixon. Discussion on the motion. Just to encourage council to support this motion. This is a long outstanding issue with quality of water in Thomas Brook, and this is our first step into getting this resolved, having these people join the city if they approve the whole local area service, and having their water and possibly their sewer upgraded to a proper and safe standard. So I'm glad to see this is finally here, and again, encourage council to support this. Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Motion's carried.
Moving forward to 9A, I move that council approve development variance permit application number EDP 2016-09 and give notice of the intention to consider the issuance of development variance permit number EDP 2016-09, 1780 Big A Road, to vary subdivision development and servicing bylaw number 1846, section 1.3B, of Schedule 4 design standard to permit the minimum fire flows under peak delay flow conditions to be reduced from 225 liters per second to 0 liters per second.
Motion by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor Sauls. Mr. Strachan, you have a brief presentation?
Very briefly, Your Worship, the application was submitted to the city for a property on Big Eddy Road. The application before you was initially came to council with a recommendation to not go forward with variance. Council did decide at that meeting to go forward with the variance, so it's come back to council for approval of the application or consideration of approval of the application. What will then happen if council approves it, it will go out to the neighboring property owners and will return to council at the next meeting for consideration of adoption. Thank you, Your Worship.
Discussion on the motion. This has come once before council, and the majority of council did approve it, and I'm hoping that the same thing applies today. I think that we should be approving it and moving forward. Any comments? Councilor Fernando.
Yeah, Your Worship, I do not think this is a good idea. I note in the report, despite the recommendation, staff noted that they did not support this. It's a life safety issue, there's insurance, there's liability issues, as well as life safety issues for firefighters responding to a potential fire at council.
Any more discussion, Councilor Nixon?
I won't be supporting this today either, Your Worship. I just think that we had another proponent to Big Eddy go to the trouble of getting in a sprinkler system, and I think this regulating body sitting around this table is responsible for the life and safety of its community members, and I won't be supporting it.
Councilor Brothers.
I agree with both Councillor Orlando and Councillor Nixon, and I won't be supporting this for the same reasons that we discussed last time this came up before council, and I agree with their submissions.
Any more comments? Councillor Sauls.
Your Worship, I will support this. I feel that the type of building, the cinder block building, and the fact that it will be used for storage rather than for anything other than that, I feel that by the time this is built, I'm hoping that the Big Eddy water will be close to being completed and shouldn't be an issue.
Any more comments on the motion? The motion is to approve. All those in favor? Against? Do you get who was against?
Yes.
Councilor Brothers, Nixon, and Orlando. Motion is approved. Thank you, Mr. Strachan.
I will recuse myself for the next one on the basis of the solicitor and client relationship.
I will move 9B, that council approve development variance permit application number EDP 2016-10 and give notice of the intention to consider the issuance of development variance permit number DVP 2016-10 906 Farrell Road to vary subdivision development and service bylaw number 1846, section 1.3B of Schedule 4 design standard to permit the minimum fire flows under peak daily flow conditions to be reduced below 60 liters per second to 0 liters per second.
Motion by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor English. Mr. Strachan, you have a brief presentation.
Yeah, briefly, Your Worship, again, this was an application that was submitted to the city. Recommendation from staff was to deny the application. However, council decided to ask that it come back for consideration of approval. And it's before council for consideration of approval. Again, this would go out to the neighbors and come back to the next council meeting with that input for consideration of actual permit approval. Thank you, Your Worship.
A motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councillor Nixon.
Your Worship, I will not be supporting this one today as well, for the same reasons for life and safety issues.
Councillor Lindo.
Your Worship, I won't be supporting it, again, citing life safety issues and staff advice from a number of departments recommending against it.
Any more discussion on the motion? Councillor Stolz.
Your Worship, I will support this. Again, this building is concrete, poured concrete from basement to the top, and by supporting this, we'll at least be able to get this guy a building permit so the city can go in and do inspections and see if this building is suitable for application.
Question that I have, Mr. Strachan, we talked about the last time this came before council about having this put into a 5-year plan for upgrading of water in this area. I guess this is more of a question of Mr. Chabot then. Is this automatically going to go to budget discussions and capital? Okay, I just wanted to double check. I will be supporting it, and I encourage council to support it. I don't see that there's more risk than what we already have, especially in this area. And we've looked at several alternatives to rectify this and haven't been able to come up with anything better, affordable, and, well, I shouldn't say better, I should say affordable. So putting it into a 5-year capital plan and having opportunities to apply for any grants that may come up to make it reasonable for the area, I think is a win-win situation, and I would support this. Is there any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Thank you. Would you like to let our councillor in, Mr. Strachan? We are on 9C.
I will move that development variance permit DVP 2016-07 be approved.
Motion by Councillor Duke, second by Councillor Nixon. And Mr. Strachan, you have a presentation as well.
Very briefly, Your Worship, as noted, the development variance permit was to council at the last meeting. It went out to the neighbors. We received no input on this particular application. It's to vary the size of the accommodation units as well as the residential unit in Building 1 to match what is already approved for Building 2. Thank you, Your Worship.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Economic development, item number D.
That, Your Worship, that the mayor and CEO be authorized to sign the contribution agreement with the Columbia Basin Trust for receipt of funds in the amount of $165,000 to deliver youth programming in Revelstoke during the period July 1, 2016 to June 30, 2019.
Motion by Councillor Brothers, seconded by Councillor Sauls. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Nixon.
This is a good news story, Your Worship. The youth coordinator that has been working for the youth in this town of Revelstoke has left a really good legacy of a good model that's been looked at in the Columbia Basin as the way to work with youth. And I think this is really a good news story of an increased amount of funds coming in.
Very good, thank you. Councillor Leonard.
Your worship, I'll echo Councillor Nixon's statements. I note in Mr. Mason's report, there's a brief discussion about how the CBT went on to model the program here in Revelstoke to other youth advisory programs in the basin. I was there at the youth advisory committee meeting when they came up and did some consultation. They were talking to staff again. It's a really positive story, and I do commend the previous council, I guess I think it might have been 2 councils ago, for actually setting up this program. There was a bit of you were on there, Councilor Nixon as well, yeah. For getting this going, there was a bit of consternation at the start as to whether to do this or not, and I think it's turned out fantastically, and I think it's a good example of what the city or what the people of Revelstoke can achieve with good planning and long-term vision. It's great news.
Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. We have nothing in correspondence today. In communications, we have does anybody want to bring anything up about the Parks, Rec, and Culture monthly reports? UBCM gas tax agreement, Community Works Fund. Questions from media?
Not for me, Your Worship.
Alex?
Just regarding the Thomas Brook thing, this, I haven't had a chance to read the report, I think it's a late item, I didn't read it, but when I talked to Lonnie Parker about this, there's some sort of 5-year, like there might be a 5-year delay of that area joining the city under some agreement with the CSRD, and I was just wondering if, is that part of the agreement that they would wait 5 years to offset kind of the costs and get that funding?
We're putting together a package and trying to make it as affordable as possible for the residents to help solve their water problem, and it's up to them to vote, but that's what's being talked about. Tom?
So, but they're annexing the properties in, they're just gonna hold the rate of the CSRD.
What do you mean hold the rate?
Payments, they'll pay the same rates they're paying now.
It's like the same
The
taxes?
CSRD, there won't be increase to city taxes
5 years.
for 5 years. But we are annexing them into that's what this report is.
Okay,
And that's explained in the report.
okay. Yeah. All right, I think that's it.
Okay, have a slight change to the motion for the go in camera, and it's pursuant to section 90.1A, KL, and 90.2C. The A that's added is for looking at adding a person to a city committee. Need a motion and a seconder. Councillor Lewis, Councillor Sauls, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you.